Okay, day 4 of our MP3 Benchmark review. We have a kite, okay, special kind of quadrilateral where you have two pairs of adjacent congruent sides, right? So now, unlike the parallelograms, opposite sides aren't equal, but there are some unique properties here. The diagonals are perpendicular, and you will have one pair of angles that are going to be equal. So in this particular kite, angle W and angle Y, they're going to be my equal angles, okay? It's quadrilateral, so we know that the angles in this thing have to add up to 360 degrees. So what do I have so far? I have 130 and 18, that's 148, okay, total degrees. So I'm going to take 360 minus that 148, okay, and I'll have 212 degrees left for that final angle, or for both of those angles together. So that's W and Y combined. Remember, we just want angle W, so we would divide that by 2. Okay, so angle W should be 106 degrees. Okay, so we have a rectangle now where they tell us the width to the length is 3 to 7. So that's W to L is 3 to 7. Then they tell us if the rectangle is 21 centimeters long, find its width. So 21 has to live down here where the length is. So if I can cross multiply and say, 7x, we can call that x if we want. So some of you, before the break, were doing this, getting really quick at this. You saw that 7 times 3 is 21, so you just did 3 times 3 and got x equals 9. If you're not seeing that, that's okay. We cross multiply. 7 times x is 7x. 3 times 21 is 63. And now you just use your basic algebra and divide both sides by 7, and x would still equal 9 in that case. Okay? Okay, so we are going to get a decimal today. I'm going to ignore the units for now because I have, if you notice, you have the postage stamp is 20 millimeters by 35 millimeters, and then all of a sudden the poster is 3 feet. Well, as long as the other dimension of the poster is feet, we're going to be okay. We just need the basic ratio of width to height. So it's 20 wide and 35 tall. So then we can just come that, and whether it's millimeters or centimeters or inches, it doesn't matter. Now it's going to be 3 feet wide, and we want to know how many feet tall it's going to be. Okay, so I can just cross multiply here. 3 times 35 is 105. Right? Let's get rid of that equal sign there. So 3 times 35 is 105, and that's going to be equal to 20x. So we divide both sides by 20. And I think we just get 5.25 for x. Okay, so the next one here is basically just a multiple choice. Which triangle is similar to ABC at the right? So we can see ABC has a 5 that lives in between the single hash mark and the 90 degrees. Okay, so you might be drawn to this first one, but you should realize right away this first one can't even be a triangle, right? We have 5, 12, and then the shortest side is the hypotenuse. That would be impossible. So I'm not going to bother testing that one, okay? When I look at the other two, I don't even see the angle-angle setup, right? In order for triangles to be similar, I need at least two angles similar. So I can see that here I have the angle-angle in this triangle. So if we look at the ratio, the smallest side in each triangle, and this one here is 5, and the other triangle is 15. That ratio ought to be equal to the next side up, which would be 12, to 36. And then finally 13, the biggest side in my original triangle, over the biggest side, 39, in the other triangle. You can see all three of these fractions are equal. They all equal 1/3. So that's definitely my similar triangle. The reason there would be angle, angle, but the sides are all proportional as well. Okay. Finally, in the last one, we're solving for x. So notice that ABC and JKL, right? So when I look at AB, I ought to be looking at JK. Okay, those two are proportional to each other. So if I put 18 to 6. Okay, then I look at BC. Well, what's BC match up with? KL. BC, x minus 2, has to be matched up with KL, which is 9. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply here. So 9 times 18 would be 162. Cross multiply here. And then don't forget this 6 has to get multiplied by both of these. So we'd have 6x minus 12. So I add 12 to both sides. So I have 174 equals 6x. And then I would divide both sides by 6. So I get x is 29. Okay, so give this a shot on Unified Classroom. Make sure you put your answers in there to get credit for the assignment.